It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Full melt.
You know, in Maryland, it's okay to use marijuana for medical purposes, though it isn't yet being sold here yet. Half the country has now legalized pot in some form, and that means more people could be driving high. And police are looking for a foolproof way to prove it. In Focus reporter Kume Aaron takes a closer look at a new weapon that may help them do it.
Well, marijuana stays in your system for a while, so say you get pulled over and you have a blood or a saliva test. Well, it could still show up positive even if you used marijuana days ago. Well, makers of this new marijuana breathalyzer say that it can eliminate that problem.
Every device is different.
This is one of Control is testing to help them detect marijuana in drivers.
Some tell you to swab above the tongue, below the tongue.
They all use saliva to determine how much THC is in a driver's blood from marijuana.
He's evaluating it now, and you'll see the printout that is provided.
But one company says it's developed a different and potentially better way to do that by testing a driver's breath.
I actually have I can show it to you here.
This is a portable marijuana breathalyzer developed by Hound Labs.
And you just blow through it like that.
The company's co-founder, Mike Lynn, says the machine is the first to be tested by law enforcement roadside and can detect THC in a person's breath, whether they smoked or ate marijuana. But he says this small machine has an even bigger advantage.
In breath, THC only stays for a really brief period of time. And so unlike saliva or blood or urine where what you did last weekend will still show up in that, in breath, it just doesn't. It only shows up for a few hours.
That means law enforcement can better determine if a driver is really impaired from recent use.
If you're the cop, you have no idea. If your saliva test is positive, okay, it's positive, but so what? It doesn't tell you when the person last used marijuana, so there's no way to correlate that with actual driving impairment.
With more states legalizing marijuana, Lynn hopes this device will make roads safer by getting impaired drivers off the roads and make sure those who are using marijuana legally can keep driving.
Well, the company says it will still do more testing with law enforcement and in the lab to make the data perfect. It hopes to have the breathalyzer available next year.
It's the Full Metal Show.
Wow. Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
Give me a break.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. TheFullMelt.com.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Blaster.
Blaster who?
I don't know. There was something I was going to go with it, but I'm just not going to do it.
I was going to say, you have me kind of creeped out there, man.
Did I scare you?
I mean, kind of. I was really concerned as to Blaster who. I thought I was the Blaster here.
I don't want to say it. The rest of my joke has to do with the news. Did you see the news about the Mad Blaster? It wasn't you.
No, I have not.
It was Dr. Kumar Singh. Did you see that big deal there?
I believe I caught a brief.
So the Green Light Clinic, poor Dr. Kumar Singh. I really feel so bad for this guy because they have just been chasing this guy around for a while now. And for no good reason. It's like, I don't even know why it's like they know they get on his goat. They're getting his goat, so they get on his goat. It's pretty funny because, hey, you need to go back to your spot. Go back to your spot, studio dog. Fourth wins, back to your spot. And then lay down. Down. He's all excited because we're here on the air and flailing arms around. He's like, oh, it's playtime. I don't know. Dr. Kumar Singh ran the Green Light Clinic here in Michigan, in Troy. And the deal is that he's just a medical marijuana certification guy. He's just a doctor that does certifications for patients. I mean, he doesn't have anything other to do with the program other than that. Nothing. I mean, this is not a guy that has pot. This is not a guy you can get pot from. He's not a grower, not a processor. He's not a transporter. He's none of those guys. He's just a doctor with a Green Light Clinic. And so, I don't know. There's been a bunch of crap going on, though. I mean, the guy's got domestic problems. He seems to be maybe one of these guys that you can light his fire easily. You know what I mean? You get on his nerve. He's got a raw, exposed nerve somewhere, and maybe they're everywhere. And people get on one,
Well, in all fairness, I mean, people can be really stupid. Like, really stupid.
All right, I'll just read the story to you because otherwise we're talking nonsense to everybody. Everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? So this is a story today in the Detroit News. I'll just read the story to you, and I'll give credit to Mike Martindale, who wrote the story for the news. This is out of the Oakland County part. There's a picture of Dr. Kumar Singh, and he does not look very happy, by the way. This is the typical mugshot thing. Like, have you ever seen the mugshot coffee cups? Where you get like the famous people with the mugshots on the coffee cups? That's pretty funny. This looks like one of those. Like I could see this picture wrapped around a coffee cup. A family physician who operates a medical marijuana clinic in Oakland County is jailed on charges he made internet threats last weekend to kill Oakland County prosecutor Jessica Cooper. Well, who hasn't? Two assisting prosecuting attorneys and others, it says. Look up. People like Mike Bouchard and Oakland County prosecutor Jessica Cooper make a lot of people mad, especially in the medical marijuana community, because they've been just really targeting them in this county specifically. Vastly. I mean, there's not a single shop that I can think of inside of Oakland County that hasn't been raided and closed by the sheriff's department. There are no dispensaries. Well, there are. There are a few. There's some that still survive. There's at least one that I know, maybe two, that survive in Walled Lake. City of Walled Lake has a dispensary. And so
I'm pretty sure they've been shut down multiple times.
Well, they have been shut down multiple times, but yet they still survive.
I mean, yeah, they're still there.
They're still open.
Right.
It's not like their doors have been shuttered and the people that operate the thing have been removed from society like they've done in so many other places. I mean, they did this most recently in Gaylord. And Gaylord's just one of the high-profile places. But this has been happening all across the state, truth be known.
Right.
But Dr. Kumar Singh of Royal Oak was arrested last Sunday after two of his targeted victims made police reports after learning of the threats allegedly made by Singh on Facebook September 10th. He was arraigned on September 22nd. He was arraigned on 22 charges, rather, because it's not the 22nd yet, you see.
No, it is not.
Arraigned on 22 charges Wednesday and is being held in the Oakland County Jail in lieu of $1 million bond. $1 million! Listen, 22 charges. He must have really just went off on a bender. I mean, something happened here. I don't know. I want to see the Facebook post now. I wonder if it's still up.
Probably not.
I would think that it would be. I'm going to go see if I can see it.
I mean, from what I understand...
Let me just go right now and see. I want to see it.
Okay.
Let me go to the Facebook right now and see. I mean, let me see.
Facebook will tell.
Only if... Maybe... Oop, I spelled it wrong. Hang on. There we go. So there he is. Just waiting for it to load. Got a really bad signal right now. Turn the Wi-Fi on. Maybe that'll make it better. There we go. Here we go. Now, so August 22nd, August 13th. Yeah, so there's nothing on his Facebook page. I'm friends with him, so I should be able to see. There's nothing on his Facebook page. The last post was August 13th. Now, there's his Green Light Clinic sign. There's a puppy. Oh, it's a cute puppy, too.
Left field.
Yeah, I'm just saying it. I'm just checking to see where the internet threats are. This is nothing there. So let me see if there's on a different page. Let me see if... Let me see. I'll just look into this way. So there's that one. No. June. No. May. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it anywhere. So maybe they did take it down. Somebody somewhere had to take it down. I don't know if he talked to his family on the phone and told him how to get into his account and take it off. Something happened. because, well, let me just finish the story now. So now that I've looked up and found out that there's, I just opened up Capone's vault and there's nothing there. Go back to the news.
Oh,
he says,
as if that's sizable to the situation.
It's not as sizable, but, it's a similar situation. Rained on 22 charges Wednesday and is being held, like there's a train coming, in the Oakland County Jail in lieu of $1 million bond. Singh, 47, allegedly made various threats to kill with an assault rifle several individuals, including prosecutors, his attorneys, bailiffs, and others as a result of what he perceives to be mistreatment in a criminal case from 2013-14 in Oakland County. He claimed the case severely tarnished his reputation, according to John Potbury, a spokesman of the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office, which will be handling the case because Cooper has recused herself. I wonder why. He was apparently a witness in a criminal case a few years ago, Potbury said. He was cross-examined by an assistant prosecutor. That assistant prosecutor didn't have any subsequent conversation he can recall. So the big question is, why after all these years did Singh's wrath and anger come out? A search warrant was issued and evidence found that indicates he had the ability to carry out the threats. Potbury did not elaborate on what was found in Singh's residence other than weapons. Calls to Cooper's office were not immediately returned Wednesday. Singh was represented in court Wednesday by Matthew Abel of Cannabis Council, a group which specializes in marijuana cases in Michigan. It's a strange case, but he claims he's innocent of the charges, that he didn't threaten anyone, Abel said. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him much about the case, but I expect we will be meeting. Abel said Singh was subpoenaed to testify in a medical marijuana case a few years back, and it was his understanding that Singh felt questioning of him by prosecution went too far. The judge at that time harassed in court. Singh was reportedly so angered at an assistant prosecutor he perceived as discrediting him during a 2013 medical marijuana case that he sent a threat to the assistant prosecutor's sister and her children. Whoa! The charges included offenses to threat. The offenses included the threat of terrorism, including the use of the internet to make threats, use of a computer to make threats, and use of a computer to commit a crime. All of the computer crimes are punishable by 20 years in prison.
Damn.
All the computer crimes, man, that's a lot. 22 charges. Also charged with 4 counts of ethnic intimidation, a felony with a 2-year prison penalty. Royal Oak police staked out Singh's apartment in Royal Oak, and arrested him without incident Sunday. Man. According to court records, he pleaded guilty September 7th to a misdemeanor offense involving the discharge of a firearm on July 15th. So some crap's been going on. But boom goes the dynamite out there in Troy on Dr. Singh.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp oil drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell. Hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
Yes, sir. We are just here to get you qualified, okay, for the lower interest rates.
This is a Visa card.
Okay. It's a Visa card, starts at 4, right?
So why do you need the numbers off the card?
I was going to let you know, what is your new interest rate going to be and what you qualified for, okay?
Well, wouldn't it be a security risk if I was to give my card number over the phone?
Sure, we are the one who sent you the billing statement every month.
Aren't you really just a liar? Aren't you just lying about this? Aren't you just trying to steal my credit card number? Oh, you are, you little piece of shit. You're a little fucking liar, aren't you? You're a little foreign piece of shit, aren't you? You're a little foreign fucking puke, aren't you?
That's what you are, fucking piece of shit.
Oh no, you get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign piece of fucking shit. There you go. That's how you do that.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at rudoylaw.com.
Rudoylaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at rudoylaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release. We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade, you got this.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in.
For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back.
Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go.
Bad Blaster, did we get what we deserve?
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
Are you? Do you know what I'm referring to?
No. Nope.
Then how do we know we deserved it?
I don't know, because people are shitty.
Wow. He was just like, I'm pitching the ball and he's just swinging no matter where it goes.
Hey, man, there's a chance of a home run. Right?
No, it's swinging like a sissy.
Oh, whatever.
All right, so I'm talking about the Bills. Those Bills in Michigan.
Oh, don't talk about those.
You heard about the Bills?
Yes, I heard.
Who'd you hear? Do you mind if I pry? I mean, who'd you hear from?
What, you?
Oh, I was your source?
Yeah.
That's a terrible source.
That's pretty much how this goes.
Horrible source. What do you listen to anybody?
I mean, I'll take it into consideration. I'll hear you out.
Well,
because I got hit with a theory today that Bill Clinton was a robot. And
wait a minute.
I'm not saying it's real, but I'll hear you out.
There's Bill Clinton's a robot. Like the real Bill Clinton's dead?
Yeah, that's from what I understand.
Or is it more like they took Bill Clinton and just kept him alive in robotic form, kind of like Mr. Burns' head in the jar?
Couldn't tell you, man. I was pretty high when this theory was thrown at me today. I didn't really get into the
you didn't pick it apart?
Somebody
says Bill Clinton's a robot, and you don't go, wait a minute.
I picked it apart. I didn't pick the specific, bioengineering from just full robotics difference.
Well, was Bill Clinton a robot before or after the Monica Lewinsky thing? Because I got to know that.
After.
Okay. Yeah. I was hoping. You'll get the whole...
No, I get it. I'd be really sad if he was a robot, man.
And then you got to explain the dress.
Well, that probably would make Hillary a robot.
No, the theory about Hillary is that Hillary is she's got a double running around. Like, she's hiding. You know how, so if you're in the French Revolution, right?
What the fuck?
Wait, if you're in the French Revolution and you got the king, right? The king and the people of France were revolting.
Right.
You said it. They stink on ice. If they're revolting, they're going to come after the king and cut off his head.
Right. So you got a
But
double.
if you put a king's double there, and the king is spirited off safely away into the woods somewhere, and then they come for the king, and they say they think it's the king, and they put his head in the thing, and off with his head, and the king's still running around. They're saying much to say. I mean, they're applying that theory to Hillary Clinton. They're saying that Hillary is hiding somewhere, and that there's a body double running around pretending she's Hillary. I mean, what is she, freaking Saddam Hussein?
Probably.
I mean, that's what Saddam Hussein did pre-Gulf War.
Isn't that how reincarnation works?
Before the first Gulf War, that's what Saddam Hussein did. You're probably too young to remember that.
No, I understand.
So
I remember that.
Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah,
okay.
I remember that.
So he's out there waving, and he's basically saying, "Go ahead, bomb me. Go ahead and send down a missile."
Right.
Because that's not the real Saddam. And it's clearly, you can see his mustache is on sideways. You know, he's a little fatter than the real Saddam. You know, he's a little more handsome than the real Saddam. His beard is a little shorter. I mean, you can just tell this is not Saddam Hussein. And there's a guy behind him saying, "Oh, it's Saddam." Yeah, so the whole audience is like, "It's Saddam, Saddam." Everybody's, you know, they all shoot him afterwards.
Sometimes you just gotta
go with the flow.
Gotta go with the flow, man. Gotta talk about the conspiracy theories.
So in Michigan, there were these bills. This is according to MLive today. And, you know, I've been following this closely. I've been on the air the last couple days. Well, just yesterday. Just yesterday? Yeah, just yesterday. It's Wednesday. Yeah, just yesterday. Wasn't on the air.
Monday.
No, on Monday we were on the air. Anyway. Michigan marijuana vote kept off the ballot with federal court ruling. Now, that happened yesterday, and that's one of the things that I was paying attention to, but I was not there. Federal judge denied a court motion today. This is yesterday, remember. Meant to stop the printing of Michigan election ballots until signatures supporting the marijuana legalization could be counted. Now, this is a legalization for adults, 21 and over in the state of Michigan. The decision came at a hearing at noon today, Tuesday, September 13th, in U.S. District Court Judge Linda V. Parker's courtroom in Flint on two marijuana petitioners' bids to have their signatures counted in hopes of allowing Michigan residents to vote on legalization for marijuana for people 21 and older. And basically what she said, it's too late to have an effect, she said. That's what her ruling was. She ruled after the hearing that went longer than an hour that there's not enough time to stop the process of Michigan's election to place the issue on the ballot. So basically she said, you guys, you came here a little bit too late because
they flipped a close sign on us.
I mean, yeah, that's basically what happened. You know,
like,
you're running down the road for that Starbucks coffee before they close. They're just running down the road because you can taste it, and they flip the close sign, and then they lock the door as you approach and grab the handle. That's basically what happened.
Suck a wiener.
So this is not over, though. Now, I attended a meeting yesterday. By the way, that case was argued by attorney Tom Levine from Cannabis Council. Amongst others. And then, you know, I think Paul Dylenda was out there. Was Paul out there? Or no, Paul was I think Paul was busy working on what the hell was going on with these bills. So that's the other thing that happened. Started happening on Monday. We heard the tale of this on Monday, and that's what Monday's show was about. Monday's show was about the changes that were coming down I said yesterday on Monday, they were coming down the train, coming down the track like a bullet train. And this would be hitting us smack dab in the face. Get prepared for the impact because it is coming.
Dab.
And I was expecting it to happen Tuesday. Now, do you remember? Now you weren't here on Monday's show. Now on Monday night's show, while I was talking to Jamie Lowell on the show. And I think this is before David Rudoy. This is before David Rudoy, or maybe after David. This is after David Rudoy. So David was on with Jamie for a while, and then David left, and Jamie stayed for most of the rest of the show. And while I was talking to Jamie about the impact that these bills would have should they make it through the House and then get signed by the governor, he's like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, and I don't want to do any disrespect by not mentioning who he is because I'm not familiar with this particular legislator, but Jamie is. I got to look him up now. Michigan legislator.
C-I-L-L-E-D?
C-I-L-L, my landlord. So, it's Pete Patelia. Is it Patelia? It's Pettalia, Pettalia, I think is his name. And if I'm saying his name improperly, I apologize because I'm not familiar with the man. But he did. Now, he was a motorcycle advocate. He was one of the guys that helped get rid of the whole. Everybody's got like the uniform helmet law.
Right.
He was instrumental in helping get that repealed. He's part of that. And then he died in a motorcycle crash shortly before we were. The news broke to Jamie. Somebody texted him about it as he was on the show on Monday night. Now that event right there, and I'm sorry for his family. It's a terrible thing. I feel. Thoughts are with his family and etc. Condolences in place, certainly. So no disrespect at all. I'm really terribly sorry that this happened because the guy is 61 years old and somebody turned, I think, in front of him in a truck and he just broadsided him. The person in the truck was uninjured and he was killed. But he was wearing a helmet, by the way, according to the story I read. Now, since that incident happened, the people on Tuesday at the legislature who were all primed and ready to go in there at the House and vote on this set of bills that we talked about on Monday, and I'll just kind of briefly go over them in a moment here if we got time. They didn't vote on them. They were all busy talking about this crash. And, really a lot of them were grieving about it because, this is a colleague, somebody that they work with all the time. These people work closely together with each other in the darkness hours of the night. They work to get stuff done.
Right.
And so you can imagine what that would be like to have that person just removed from the process and be like, well, this guy's dead now.
Right.
It's quite shocking. And so as a result, those gun barrels were loaded again this morning. Now, it's funny because I got to play this too because I can't tell this story without playing this bit. This is from Chad Morrow. I gotta look him up real quick. Now Chad was with the people from Cloud 45 up in Gaylord. Now I already told you that Gaylord was targeted by Michigan law enforcement a lot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Gaylord police. It happened to be this multi-jurisdictional task force. But I've got to play this for you because this is a live stream that he's now. It might be.
The rest of my life to making sure you go to jail, you scumbag traitor.
Wait a minute. So this is Chad and another guy. They're out there with megaphones on the Capitol lawn in a state's capital there.
Oh.
They're walking on the sidewalk there, where the guys that are coming out after voting on this bill that they just passed.
Right.
This is at the House today.
Yeah.
I told you that those barrels, that double-barreled shotgun was loaded for today, and they pulled the trigger. So as a result, these guys are steamed up like Kumar Singh, right?
Right.
They're ready to. They're just pissed off. But instead of making terroristic threats on the internet on Facebook, and having weapons at their home, which it sounds like Mr. Singh might have done, or at least that's the allegation.
Allegedly,
right? It's an alleged fact. That these guys used instead megaphones and language. Freedom of speech, right? And loud freedom of speech. Doesn't say you can't be loud about your freedom of speech. I mean, that's what I am about this show. So here they are, and at some point they surround Representative Mike Calton from Nashville, which is an area just south and east. It's like in Eaton County, I think. That's the area that he represents in the state, and he's a nice old chiropractor, and he's a freshman a few years back, and we shined onto him, and we talked to Calton. Calton, being a chiropractor, was he claimed to be. Look, I kind of feel a kinship to the medical marijuana community because as chiropractors, we used to be picked on and targeted by law enforcement too. See, our whole profession used to be, hocus pocus. You're going to kill people cracking people's backs.
Right.
You can't be doing that shit to people.
Yeah.
What are you doing? There's a doctor over there. Go to the doctor. He can tell you how to fix your back. You don't have no business. You could break that lady's neck. That's how they used to treat chiropractors. They used to come in and shut them down. Until they got some recognition for it. Eventually, they got worked these things through and so he's like, look, I feel a lot like this is what you guys are. You guys are a lot the same thing. You've got a way to alleviate pain for people and do it in a natural way that doesn't involve pharmaceuticals. This is the same thing that chiropractors do. So he used that, I don't know if it was a song and dance. It sounds like there's truth to it. I mean, I know about chiropractors. I know about how their ways are. I've been to a chiropractor since I was 9 years old. I'm 49. So this business about luring you in, because I told him, I said, look, I'm really good. I'm a good read on people. I can kind of tell if you're slippery. If you're a snake in the grass,
slippery.
I've got my eye on you. And Carlton came off to me because of just his response and his body language. There's things that people do and it just exudes. This guy's a slippery snake in the grass. And I said it for a while because they were out raising money for this guy. And everybody, they're out. Every time that we were trying to get Carlton to do something, he's holding a fundraiser somewhere, being sponsored by one of our people in the community. Some caregiver, some guy at a newspaper, somebody somewhere, people like me, sponsoring Carlton to get him money, get him reelected. He's doing our bidding. He's going to write this bill. He's going to get his Republican buddies on board with the Democrats and get this done. This bill for dispensaries put on by the people that are caregivers and patients in Michigan, it's reinforcing their behavior. Like it's giving them some more, it's keeping them out of court. That's what this would be doing. And then in the darkness of night, that thing got yanked out because some other people came along with bigger money and started giving him money too and holding fundraisers, but they weren't really holding fundraisers. They're just giving him money. And all of a sudden, the bill gets reintroduced. It's been gutted and replaced with language for those guys. And that's basically what got rigmarolled around through the legislature and passed eventually today. And that is why these guys...
You're down like Nazis 70 years after the war on drugs is complete. It puts you on the trains to Auschwitz, you evil fucks.
You can see how angry these guys are. I mean, these guys are just using acid from their tongues, but... They surround Mike Carlton at one point, and they got him on both sides, megaphones on both sides of him, yelling at him because he is the biggest snake in the grass in this whole mess. And it's just something that brought light to my eyes today.
Costello's a scumbag criminal. Richard Harwood's in prison tonight, you stupid fucks. Can't believe you do this to me,
Young's a criminal too, but he has no power. He's just a lackey.
Clint Costello's a scumbag criminal.
And Jones.
This guy is too. You're either with us or you're against us, and at this point you're against us, scumbag. How did you vote, sir? Can you tell us how you voted today?
Are you against the people that have been in compliance with this accident?
I'll bet you he voted yes.
Prison while
yes.
Guidelines.
Hell yes. Yeah.
Wait.
Clint Costello's criminal. Hey, bad boy, how do you vote? You vote good, boy?
The walk of shame. Say bad boy.
Clint Costello's a criminal.
So there's going on. What if I find the part where, because it's quite forward here.
Just like Clint Costello.
Where they were just railing on Clint Costello.
That's what we're here to say.
Do you like politics? Do you want to be a public servant? If you voted yes on this,
they're just letting all these legislators have it, just megaphoning in their ears as they're walking down the sidewalk in their cars.
Out-of-state drug dealer. Interstate commerce is a crime under federal code of law. You're initiating out-of-state commerce.
Oh, so this guy's explaining to some lady, why are you guys out here making all this noise? He's explaining to her what's going on.
Yeah, he's wide open, man.
So I just saw,
Try not to do anything sorry.
It's Jeff Irwin who's been on our side about this now. I was at a meeting yesterday with Jeff Irwin over at the Third Coast Dispensary in Ypsilanti at 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Went and had a dinner meeting with a bunch of guys that are involved in the community from all over the state, mostly from the Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area, and maybe some Flint people. I mean, a lot of people, some from Detroit, southeast Michigan mostly, some from central Michigan, I think. But we're all out there talking about what now? Like, what are we doing now? What does this all mean? What's the impact? And what are we going to do about it? So let me just go over that really quick, because. But I got to do it, I think, probably after we come back from the break, because I don't think we have time left in this break to get it done. So when we come back from the break, I'll go over what we talked about in that meeting, because it's Need legal representation? Call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down. 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dorr Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
My name is Kubo.
When people say Kubo, they're talking about the best animated movie of the year.
Whoa, show off.
Kubo is captivating.
You got my attention.
Kubo is charming.
Don't even. Grumpy monkey.
Kubo is an unforgettable adventure that will delight fans of all ages.
Like me?
Yes! Oh boy.
Kubo in theaters and Real D3D. Rated PG.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
When they slam that cell door shut, remember that I warned you and you could have avoided going to prison.
I swear to God, I will dedicate the rest of my life to making sure you go to jail, you scumbag traitor!
God, oh my God, it's crazy. They did corner Mike Calden, and I mean, they had him on both sides out there in front, and I thought, Mike just kept sort of smiling. He turned around and stopped, and he let him just like stand around and just like beat him up with the megaphones. And now there's guys in big red. They look like Captain Kangaroo out there in the big red giant, suits. Some big guys, and they're just kind of standing around doing nothing. I guess one of them touched one of them, and he's like, "Hey, don't be touching me. You don't have any right to touching me. Hey, film the police." Because they were still just beating up on Clint Cluster or whatever that guy's name is. I can't see it right now. But they got Mike Halton cornered, and he just stood there and laughed, kind of yelling back at him a little bit. He wasn't putting up with nothing. They got a lot to yell about, and here's why. The bill that we passed in 2008, the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, amended our state's constitution. And it allowed for a patient caregiver system. And so when we put that together, we put protections in place against for patients and caregivers so that they could be allowed to have marijuana, grow marijuana, make marijuana available to themselves and other patients that couldn't do it for themselves, so that people had some relief where they didn't have it before, so that their lives were less miserable, so that they could replace pharmaceuticals they couldn't afford, that they were trading food for, with something that was less expensive and had no side effects and did the same thing. Or was the only thing available to them at all. In most cases, that's what the deal was. That nothing else worked for them. This was the thing that worked.
Right.
And we're talking things like, epileptic seizures, what they call intractable seizures in kids. And a lot of people paid attention to that. But for 8 long years, and it'll be 10 before they can do anything about it.
Right.
This hasn't been addressed by the legislature other than in the courts. And they let the courts determine that cannabis extract is not a usable form of marijuana under the act and is thus unprotected. It's unprotected. So it's still marijuana. It's still street marijuana if it's an extract. It's just utter nonsense. Why would you do that to patients? Why would you interpret things that way for patients? It belies common sense.
It does.
And so they pretty much gutted the effort. I told you what we did.
Yeah.
That Mike Calden, that's the guy that I'm talking about. That's the guy that they're yelling about here because he's the biggest snake in the grass. He's the guy that wrote that bill and then gutted it and reintroduced it for his other buddies. The guys with more money. The guys with deeper pockets. Special interest big marijuana is what he cowed down to.
Right.
And at the last minute, they decided, because they had this all sitting in the wings, tinkered around, pass it back and forth, get more votes. Finally, boom, out of the gate it comes. Because it's been sitting back in the Judiciary Committee for a while. And it has the effect of doing this. It's going to make a multi-tiered system of growers, processors, transporters, testers, and dispensaries. Those 5 categories. So the state's going to license all of them, provided that your local county or municipality, I guess it wouldn't be county, it would be, city or municipality, made allowance for them. So it could be a township too.
Right.
So your township or city or village or whatever, their local government there would have to create an ordinance that allowed for one of these licenses or all of them to exist in their local Now, once they've made this ordinance locally, you could go down, if they allow for it, any of those, you could go down and make an application to pass all the ordinance requirements to get the township to say, all right, you're good to go. Now you can go to the state and get a license. And then you got to go through all the state hoops there. And those hoops are going to be determined by a panel that is a board that's appointed by the governor. And so it's going to be made up of no less than 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans. And it's going to it could have more people on it. And they're going to oversee and write all the rules about licensing procedure. 2/3 of the bill that was introduced was all about this board and what their requirements are and what they have power to do. And I can tell you the power is endless. This board completely, in 100% totality, has the right to do and to administer this law any way they see fit. So if they're going to load it down, it's going to be on the left. You're going to have Michigan State Policeman. You're going to have County Sheriff. You're going to have local policeman, and then you're going to have Bill Schuette, and then over there is going to be Mike Bouchard, and then Jessica Cooper, and a couple other people like that.
So
that's who they're going to load this up with.
It's safe to say
there's going to be nobody representing the patient caregiver community in that panel at all, because this whole system was designed and meant to replace the caregiver model, and nobody wants to believe that from me. I've been telling them this for a while. Everybody's like, la, 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 we can't hear you. We're busy selling pot. Shut up. Kind of what it was.
All right.
Kumbaya, we're singing down to the river. We're gonna legalize marijuana with MI Legalize. And right now we're doing our thing and we're making our money. And yes, we're ducking the things from the law, but we're beating those guys back with our own thing. We're going to get it on the ballot. We're going to vote and get it done and flush.
So we're boned, like thoroughly 100%.
Well, because what this is going to do,
the nightstick,
is it's going to make marijuana very expensive because there's an excise tax, like on the wholesale product, like just on the wholesale of the it's a 3% tax, and then there's another 6% sales tax at the end of the game, and then you've got all these licensing. You've got the armed transport. This is 2 armed transport guys in a vehicle delivering pot and money because it's a cash business. So the money and the pot's all going in the armored car, and then it's got to be and so they got to be licensed by the state to be that armored car. It can't just be you kids can't call up Brinks and have this done. You got to get a license from the state. If Brinks would have to go and get a license from the state, and then Brinks could do it. But if it's not Brinks, you'd have to go get your armored vehicles. You'd have to. Are you coming up with that money? Some companies already have armored vehicles, like Brinks. There's lots of armored truck companies. If you're of a certain size, you have a certain number of vehicles, you could go get a license and transport your weed around and get paid for it every time you stop. So you can imagine how much it's going to cost when the marijuana is going to be grown by a grower that's licensed by the state.
Right.
And those licenses are 500, 1,000, and 1,500 plants. Those are the limits to the license. So the board gets to determine how much those licenses will cost annually. The law determines that there's a large fee and requirements about bank size and all these licensing requirements. You cannot be a caregiver and a license holder.
Oh, fuck.
You also cannot. You cannot even have a misdemeanor on your record involving drugs. If you've got any kind of drug record, including a misdemeanor, you cannot be a license holder for the last 5 years. If it's older than 5 years, you might still be able to do it. But you still got to tell them about it on the application. If you don't tell them about it on the application, it's grounds for your application to be denied, even if it's been expunged. So that's the deal.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is basically designed to cut caregivers out of the system. Now, that being said, what it does do is it also makes a requirement of these new establishments to have a caregiver of at least 2 years' experience in their employ until 2021.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Well, it means if you're going to be a licensee under this new system, you can't be a caregiver, and that you've got to have one on staff. You've got to have.
How do you measure caregiver experience?
Well, because you've got a license with the state. You can just go back to the state and see that you've been a caregiver for 2 years. Yeah. So you've got to be a licensed caregiver. And have obviously this is the guy that's going to be your master gardener.
I'm just saying
this is the guy that's bringing the marijuana experience, bringing the knowledge of what it is to grow medicine from cannabis, because it's not something that everybody can do. Growing cannabis, anybody can grow a plant. Getting medicine from it is an entirely different ordeal. Understanding what that medicine is and how it works and all the components of it is an extremely important factor in caregiving. You're going to want to work with your patient to find out what it is that works best for them. And so you're going to have to tweak up and down. This is what people have done in the caregiving community. Tweak this up and down. But that's what it's going to mean. These guys are going to not you're going to end up going, instead of going in to get your you're not even going to be able to get things like Gorilla Glue in these stores because it's too high. The THC level is too high. It's going to be limited. And if you're going to go in there and get your, lemon haze skunk, because that's what works for your condition, it might completely have a different name by the time it goes through this commercial system. It's sheer madness, I say.
You're getting the full melt.
Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The NoSmell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a no-smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about no-smell technology at NoSmell.com. If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
All right, so there's this idiot reporter out in Grand Rapids today. I saw her on a promo for some show she's doing about kids and drugs, and she's interviewing a policewoman and a prosecutor. Check this out.
These things sound like something that drug addicts would use. Are regular teenagers using butane?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you are out there, you're seeing kids are you seeing it younger and younger? Are you seeing it used in homes more frequently? What's actually happening?
Okay, that's a stupid question, you old bat. Can you come up with an original reporter's question, one that somebody can actually answer?
Is it addictive? Is it something that's going to get a kid in trouble? Can people manage their use?
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest myths.
Again, I just have to take issue with this. Wood TV in Grand Rapids, this lady needs to study up before she sticks a microphone in an official's face and asks an idiot question. When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you. Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience, bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571. 571.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clearer skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio Show.
All right, so I've been, I'm a lucky visitor today, apparently, on the internet. I'm a lucky visitor. I hate the lucky visitor pop-ups. They drive me nuts. Oh, man, it's a Facebook pop-up, too. How does that happen? No. I don't want to be on LiveNap, blah, blah, blah. Blow me, LiveNap. Okay, I feel better now. I was trying to be somewhere else, and it took me someplace else. I loaded it up during the break, and it screwed me. Go ahead, Mad. You wanted to say something. You wanted to say Mad. You were mad about something, Mad. Try to get 2 words out at Mad. Wait a minute, I got to turn your mic up, Mad.
I'm going to gut you like a fish, man. Swear to God.
All right, Mad, say it. Spit it.
Fuck. We were talking about my whole point was that it's not like there's any requirement to become a caregiver. There's no, you know what I mean? Like how they say that you require 2 years of caregiving experience, but yet it's not like there's a process that you go through to.
Well, you really should be. I'm in disagreement with the fact that you could just be a caregiver.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that's the whole deal.
Somebody had to start somewhere.
Anybody can just grow pot, theoretically, by the law standpoint.
Well, but theoretically, you couldn't do it if you didn't know what you were doing, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to deliver cannabis to your patient because they can't grow it.
Right.
So they're dependent upon you to do it for them. So if you're going to do that and you're delivering cannabis to your patient, I mean, look, this is expensive to do. And if they're not at the other end getting it from you, who's paying the bills? Right?
Right.
So you're going to get weeded out through attrition. You're just going to fold because you're not going to have the money to pay for everything when you're not producing medicine to give to patients. So if you're not doing your job, you kind of are forced out of business. So if there are caregivers still around now, it's because they've been making patients happy.
Right.
And if you've been doing it for a long time, like my caregiver card stuff has been in existence since the beginning of the program. Now, I'm not caregiving anymore. I'm not doing any more caregiving right now. But it doesn't mean that I couldn't be at the moment if I wanted to. I mean, easily.
No, I get you.
So the thing is...
And that's just all I was pointing out was the lack of...
I didn't have to take a test is what you're saying.
Exactly.
To get my caregiver card, I didn't have to take no test. I didn't need any... Nobody gave me any official training. There was no handbook that was given to me. There was no set of expectations. There were no laws and regulations surrounding caregivership. Is what you're saying. It's unregulated.
Right.
Completely. It's the Wild West. Here's your card. Go grow some weed.
I just think if they're trying to regulate every other fucking aspect of it, like...
Well...
This you can just clearly see how it's all directly
There's still,
geared towards them.
even under this highly regulated system, there is no requirement, aside from borrowing from our system, from our knowledge, by requiring somebody as a caregiver of at least 2 years' experience. Because, again, you're going to get through the first cycle if you're not making medicine. You're not going to get through another cycle unless you're just independently wealthy.
Yeah, right.
So 2 years' experience as a caregiver at minimum. And but see, most of these guys that are caregiving have been doing it since the beginning. Most of them, and they've gotten quite good at it here in Michigan. I would put our cannabis here in Michigan because I know the growers. I know most of the good growers, and I would put our cannabis here in Michigan on par with any cannabis from across the country. And I've had a chance to sample.
Right.
But it's only come through hard-earned, practical experience and seeking out the information necessary to do this. And I'm suggesting that corporate America is not necessarily built to do that. What they're built to do is buy somebody who has. They're built to incorporate somebody that has that knowledge and expertise and bring them under the fold to do the things that need to be done and to oversee them and to be responsible for them. And to have that duty. So, at the end of the day, they're still under this highly regulatory system. Is no requirement for the company that's going to be, or the person or entity that's going to be growing these 1,500 plants, knows anything about them.
Right.
At all. Now, there are requirements that say your cannabis has to be free of, pesticides and contaminants like mold and mildew and all these other things. That's what the testing facility's for.
Right.
However, that being said, it doesn't change the fact that you've got to still know how to get cannabis medicine out of these plants. And where did you get your seed stock from? I mean, is this just something that you pulled out of some bag out of the street? You got something. Where are you getting your seeds from? This is all really important. And if it's not seeds, they're clones. Where are you getting those from? I mean, this is all why you need somebody that's experienced in this place to say at the end of the day that all the money you spent on all those lights glowing on all those plants is actually going to pay off anything. Because if it doesn't make cannabis at the end of the day that people want to buy from you, you're not going to have another grow. Or if you do, you're paying for it out of pocket. And you better get this one right. Can you imagine screwing up a 1,500 plant grow?
I mean, maybe not 1,500, but I've seen some pretty big ones just go right the fuck down the shitter.
Well, people in this community right now have seen much smaller plant grows, say 72 plant grows, get scrapped up and hauled off by the police.
Right, yes.
Right there, right for picking. They wait. It's funny how they wait till it's ready to pick. They wait. They somehow they know right when it's ready to pick, and then they swoop in and they grab it all, and they're like, it's our weed now. Ha, ha, ha. And so's that car, and so's that bank account. And is that your kid's phone? All that's a bye.
Right.
Stealing candy from a baby. They stole a lady's vibrator. Seriously. Did you hear about that?
No, I can't say.
The police confiscated her sex toy.
It might have been a tool of terrorism.
No, it may have been. They actually are accusing it by confiscating it under the forfeiture laws. They're accusing the sex toy of being involved in a crime. They're accusing the toy of being involved in a crime.
Was this suspicious looking?
Where did this go, ma'am? We need to know where this has been.
Isn't sodomy illegal in Michigan or some shit?
Yeah, officially, I think it probably is.
So
I don't know.
It might have been.
But sodomy's a physical act, not a toy act. Just saying. Anyways, this is the extent the police have gone to. We're gonna steal your vibrator.
They're just bored, man.
They're just bored.
There's not enough rapists and killers out there or some shit.
Yeah, you don't even want to know the stats involved there, do you?
Maybe if no.
I'll throw them your way.
I don't need those.
So the part you don't need them?
I don't need those.
Really?
I'm fine. I know there's plenty of fucked up people out there.
What I'm saying is this. The terrible incentive the police have been given through forfeiture and seizure tactics. Because here, if you get your seized, if you get your bank accounts and your computers and all your stuff seized, you can't at least under former law, I think they just modified it. You can't even go and have your day in court to try and get them back. And now, mind you, they've taken everything, including your bank accounts. They've seized it all.
Right.
In order for you to get it back, you have to post a bond equal to 20% of the value of what they seized. So if they seized your car and your house and your bank accounts and a bunch of electronics, which is what generally they do, that could be worth $1 million. Do you add those things up? Depends on how big of a home you had. Could be worth $500,000, $750,000. Who's coming up with 20% of $500,000?
Right.
Go get their shit back. So, there's such an incentive that the rapists and the murderers are being solved at 10 and 15% rates, where drug crimes are being solved at 95% rates. And that's the incentive that police are given, is to go after the low-hanging fruit with the money, not the things that cost you money, the rapists and the murderers.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.